After you launch Internet Explorer, you go up to your address bar and you're going to put Wordle's URL, which is www.wordle.net. Now let's be careful with the spelling. It's not world, it's Wordle. And it's not a .com, it's a .net. Now we enter return. We click on create. And then from our clipboard, all we have to do is click Control and V, which is paste, and there's our whole essay. Now, because Wordle works on the frequency of words in order to generate these word clouds or word art, what we want to do is we want to make sure that certain words are much bigger than others. And the two that we would want here are the title, which would be in this case El Salvador, and the first name of the author. So let's just ensure that that is the case. We can write El Salvador a couple more times. Okay, there's El Salvador a couple more times so that it's definitely there more than, let's say, the word public or population. And then we also want Saul's name to be there many, many times. So we paste that a couple more times in there anywhere. It doesn't really matter because Wordle doesn't really care how it's set up as long as all the words are there. And then we simply click on Go. And from that, Wordle is going to generate what they call a word cloud, or it's an artistic piece of art using words. Initially, it does take a few seconds, but then as you make changes, the changes are very quick. And so here's our first word cloud, okay? And right away, we see that El Salvador is much bigger than any of the other words. And then Saul is the next biggest word. And that's great. That's what we wanted, okay? And from there, we have a couple of different menus to choose from to modify this, okay? For the most part, we will not be using edit, okay? Unless you want to undo something or redo something. We will not be using the language menu either. Mostly it's there to remove certain types of words. I don't think we're going to have that problem. And so basically we have the font, layout, and color menus to play with. So font, if you click on it and choose one of the many fonts that is offered through Wordle, you'll see very, very simply that the style of writing, the font writing, changes. Okay? There's one. This one happens to be called Teen. Well, let's say I don't like Teen. Let's try Vigo. There we go. And let's say I really like Vigo, so we'll leave it at that. And you can play with that indefinitely. And then from there, we want to play with the layout a little bit. If you look at all the words as they're generated right here, they're all horizontal. And that's great if that's how you want your cloud to be. But you do have some other options. You can do any which way, and that's kind of like the words go a little bit crazy everywhere. Okay. You might choose horizontal, which is what we just saw before this one. We might choose mostly horizontal. So most of the words are horizontal with a few that are vertical. Okay. So here we'll see that Saul is vertical and El Salvador is horizontal. Okay. We can also try half and half. Half will be vertical, half will be horizontal. Okay. Mostly vertical. All right. It's interesting. And if you want everything to be vertical, well, you have that choice also. Okay. Now, let's say we chose horizontal, okay? And all the words are nice and horizontal as we like them. And we want that type of layout, but we don't like the way it looks. Well, if I still want everything vertical, I'll just ask it to relay out using the horizontal layout. So it'll keep the horizontal layout, but we'll change the way it looks. And you can, again, do that indefinitely until you find the setup that you like best. Finally, we have the color, and that's pretty self-explanatory. You can go from black and white, to some more vibrant colors if we choose. Okay. And you can play with the variants if you want a little bit of variance or a lot. If you want exactly, red, green, and blue, then you click exact and it'll just use those colors. With some variants, they'll add in a few little colors. If I choose lots of variants, you'll still see the main colors, but you'll see some other colors in there also. And you can go black and white, grayscale, or you can choose custom colors. So if you go edit the palette, you get to choose from these guys up here, and you could choose, instead of black, I might want a red and a yellow and let's say some aqua color, and also a big green fan, so how about green? And then when you click OK, you could also play with the background color. So if I don't want white, let's say I want a teal background, and then click OK. Right. And now you'll notice that for a second there, all the words seem to have like an outline instead of a solid fill. And you can do that simply by double clicking on any word. And then it kind of makes it an outline instead. Okay. So let's just keep it solid. And let's say I want these colors over here, and I really like my setup, so I'm ready to go. Unfortunately, Wordle does not have a copy option, which is a little strange. Kind of makes our lives just a little bit more difficult, but there are ways around this. So what we want to do with this is we're going to open it in a new window. So there's that option below the word cloud. So we click on open in a new window, and it does just that. Okay. Now we want to take this window, and what we want to do with it is use some of the features of our computer to copy the screen. Now you're looking for the key called print screen, and it's usually up high above the numbers, above the F1, F2, above all those, and it says PRNT and then another word SCRN usually, and that's short for print screen. But we're not going to use it to print the screen so much as we're going to use it to copy the art into our clipboard to use somewhere else. So my print screen happens to be above the F10 key. Yours might be somewhere else. So you just very simply click that print screen, which I just did, and it doesn't seem like anything has happened. Okay? And what we're going to do is, because this screen has now been copied on the clipboard, we can paste it somewhere. So I'll usually try something. So PowerPoint, that's a nice place to just paste art. So I just click on Control and V, or go up to Edit and click Paste, and there is our art. Okay. Now it does look a little odd, but if you play with the size, if you stretch it a little bit here and a little bit there, it does take up the whole screen. Okay. And then from there, we can actually print a final copy. Okay. And that's basically Wordle in a nutshell. It's something that you should be experimenting with, playing with, play with the colors, with the fonts, you name it. Okay. And you can do that for as long as you like, until you find the artistic representation that you think most represents you.